everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm part of a video hop that's all about color. Where do you get color inspiration from? How do you pick your colors? How do you know what colors to use in your art? And there's several videos in this hop. I suggest you go and watch them all. The links are below the video, and as you're watching them, give them some love. You know, thumbs up, comments, those type of things. So I haven't yet seen any of those others videos, but I think what you're probably going to be hearing about is primary colors and secondary colors and triads and tetrads and complementary and split complementary and all those things. And I I have a basic knowledge of all that stuff. I have a color wheel. I can check myself if I think that I'm doing something wrong. But really, what I want to tell you about color is that it's not that complicated. It's really not. You don't have to get into your head and make it about math, you know? Those things are nice to know about, but really, it's about your art and what's in your heart and what you think looks good, even if it's, quote, wrong. And so I want to tell you how I get inspiration and how I pick colors and my process because I think that that might be more helpful than all that other stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's okay. I am passionate about collage. I love collage, and that's the type of art that I like to do. It doesn't mean that's all I do. I do a lot of stuff, but I really love to glue paper to stuff. And so I decided to make a collage today, an abstract collage, and I want to show you where my inspiration came from on this. And this process is what happens to me a lot. I find something in my studio and I think I want to make something that is inspired by that. That happens to me all the time. Maybe it's a little piece of paper that has some different stuff on it. Maybe it's a postage stamp. Maybe it's this postcard, which I have no idea where it came from. But I saw it in my stack and I said, you know what? I really like that today. Today I like that. Today those color combinations make sense to me. And I want to do my collage with those colors. And sure, I can look on my color wheel and I can see that the predominant colors on this are orange in a shade, uh, violet in a shade, and well, yeah, pretty much, and green in a shade. So that's a triad. Those complement each other. They look nice. But you know what? I don't need a color wheel to say that because this is a picture of nature. And if nature does it, who am I to argue? She's certainly more tough than me. So that is what happens to me a lot. And that's how I pick my colors a lot. I do notice that for me personally, my color choices are very seasonal. If it's fall, I know it's fall. There's things around that remind me of fall, even though where I live it's not really very fall like. Then I tend towards those warmer colors of reds and oranges. If it's winter, I tend towards blues and purples. If it's summer, I tend to like the super bright colors. It's just I don't know why that is. I don't know if I've been programmed to be like that by being by seeing those colors all the time on everything, every media during those seasons. I don't know why that is. I also have favorites, and I notice as I'm going around to other people's videos and watching other stuff on YouTube that there are some people who use the same colors over and over and over, and they like that color combination. A popular one is like a bright pink, a teal, and a purple, or a bright pink and an orange and a teal. Those type of color combinations are favorites, and people will use them and use them and use them because that's their style. Somebody that I can really point out as having a particular color palette that she uses extensively is Carolyn Doobie. I've been watching her for years. She loves those bright rainbow colors, and that's what she uses. I'm not sure she even has any other colors to paint. I don't know, but that personal preference certainly is a way to pick color. If that's the way that you like to use color, and that is what makes you happy, then you should do it. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say here in this video is that really, please don't make it so complicated. Don't make it about a lesson in right and wrong because there isn't one. The only thing that might be useful in color theory is to know that if you mix two colors that are across each other on the color wheel, like red and green or orange and blue, that you will get a shade of neutral, which is what they call mud. Maybe it's brown, maybe it's gray, but you're going to get a color that might not be so pretty, and maybe it's not your favorite. That's about the only useful thing. Maybe another useful thing might be to know what a tint and a shade is. If you take a base pigment and you mix it with white, you get a tint, a lighter shade, a pastel. If you take a basic color and you mix it with black, you get a shade. And I mean, that's helpful information. The only problem with that when mixing paint is that you really don't know what the original paint got mixed with. So you have to make sure that it's the most pure pigment before you start trying to mix colors, and or you will not get a predictable result. So, what am I doing on the screen? This is an abstract collage. This is with papers that are around my desk and that little inspiration postcard. I kind of wished I knew where this postcard was from. It does not say. It just says it's called Terra Firma 2013. It's a photograph by Tim Allen Photo. That's all it says. It doesn't say, oh wait, I'm wrong. I found it in very small print. It says Australia. It says Australia on it. So, yeah, this must be a place in Australia. But when I looked at it, first of all, the colors caught my eye. It's not every day I would use these colors. Um, yeah, I think olive and orange together look pretty nice, or olive and rust colors look nice together, but I'm not sure that I would ever put blue or violet with it. Um, I liked it in the postcard this day. I also was inspired by the shape in the middle of it. It has this kind of a paths. In fact, I named this piece All Paths Lead to Home because to me, those things in the middle looked like paths. I don't know what they really are. Probably a runoff or something. There's some definite lines in here. The stuff at the bottom is blue, but I don't know if it's water. I can't really tell. I just thought it was cool. So those two things, the colors and the line things in the middle, inspired me to make this piece. So I started by gluing down layers of different colors of papers. Most of these are gel prints. They're different thicknesses of paper. Some of it is deli paper. Some of it is old book text or dictionary text that I have, some more aged than others. I also have some pattern tissue, which is kind of that craft color tissue paper, which lays really nicely over the other colors so that you can see stuff coming up in from behind it, but also makes kind of a shadow or a path. And then what else? I think there's some packaging paper. I'm passionate about reusing stuff. So if I get some paper in a packaging that has interesting color and pattern on it, I will save it. I have these boxes, boxes and in bins of different papers. Some of it's sorted, some of it's not. Um, I'm not that organized about it. I just like to go through and pick colors that I find interesting at that particular time out of the bin. Or maybe I get an inspiration piece out of the bin and then I start picking things that I think will go with it. That's the process that I love. And I've always loved that about doing collage art. That's the reason that I do collage so much is because I just love to pick the stuff that I think goes together. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. So what I'm using is a 5x7 wood canvas that I bought at Walmart. Um, collage works really well on wood. You can also do it on regular canvases, stretch canvases, but you do have that give factor, which, when you push on it, it gives a little bit, whereas the wood will stay very firm. And I started to really like these wooden canvases for doing my abstract collages on, although that's not all I use. I like them because I can collage around the sides and then just put a pin in the wall and hang it up. I don't have to worry about getting it framed. I don't have to worry about any of that. It's got color all the way around the sides, and I can just hang it up right now as soon as it gets done being varnished. So once I glued everything down with my matte medium, then I like to add shadow and highlight to my collage. So I like to use these Faber-Castell Pitt pins, which are India ink pins. India ink, when dry, is permanent. So if I put India ink on my piece and then I go over it with something wet, because I like mixed media and I like to put other stuff over the other stuff, it won't run or move or change. It's permanent. But it does give a little bit of time in which to blend. And so what I like to blend with is a water tank brush. And that's a brush that has a synthetic bristle, and it has a water reservoir inside of it. So when I squeeze it, water comes out the tip. And I like those because I don't have to keep dipping the brush into water to blend. And since my open time for blending this type of ink is short, I want to do it quickly. So I write a little bit of color on and then I blend it right away. And then I write a little bit more and I blend it some more. I can't write everything on the whole thing and then blend it. It doesn't work that way. It's a quickie. You got to get it blended quickly. So that's why I like the water tank brush. And I'm adding the shadows and highlights to this pattern in the middle of paths, because this is when I was thinking about how all paths on this particular piece lead to one place, and I thought that was interesting, and that's how I kind of got the idea. This piece also reminds me of some photos that I've seen of a place where a lot of my extended family, aunts and uncles, cousins, those type of people live, and it's in the Palouse they call it, in Idaho. And when it's harvest season, which it is coming up very soon, if not already, the Palouse from the air looks a lot like this. You get a lot of different crops that are overlapping, and they kind of go in that same type of a pattern. And so I've done a piece before for my aunt, which had those layers of color with collage, and that's home to me. Idaho, where I grew up with. Well, I didn't grow up there, but I went there a lot to visit my aunts and uncles and cousins at holidays and things. And the big extended family, loud, crazy people. Um, that's kind of my concept of home. So I thought about the Palouse and this type of a look being home. And it's harvest time and it's fall, so these are kind of fall colors. And I liked the postcard, and I was inspired by that, and that's how I got my color ideas. That's how I got my color ways. It's really as simple as that. I decided that I needed a few more paths though, because I've been to a lot of different places, and it looked too. Um, there was 5 things, and it was too contrived looking. It almost looked like a person with arms and a head and legs. So I needed to add a few more of these torn paper paths to it to make it look a little bit more random, although it's very difficult for we as humans to make anything random. We just don't do it. We don't like it. I also tore a piece of the red paper into a heart shape and put it in the conjunction of the paths there, to just make my idea a little bit more literal. And I added some more shadows, colors, whatever. And then to finish this piece off, I varnished it with some gloss varnish. I kind of wished I would have used satin because when you do collage, it's bumpy, and if you put something shiny over the top, it sometimes really shows the bumps a lot from the side, because light can reflect off of it and it changes the look of it. So I'll probably put another coat of more matte or satin over it when it gets all completely dry in a couple days. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed my rambling discussion about color and where I think inspiration comes from in color. And if you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below, subscribe, and share. And of course, please go and watch the other people's videos and find out what their opinions are and how they think about color. Is it a lot more clinical than me, or is it even more organic than I am? It'll be interesting to find out. And be sure to give all those people some love too. Subscribe and leave comments and all those things. So that is it for me for this color hop. Bye-bye.